What's going on YouTube? This is What Would Josh Do? And this video is going to be comparing the Note 3 and the Note 4 together to give you an idea of which one I think you should choose if you're looking to get either of these phones, or if you have Note 3, is it worth it to go ahead and get the Note 4? Now, I want to start out by going over these specs. Both of these support a 5.7-inch screen. They both look really good. This one is 1080p versus this one being Quad HD. Now, to be honest, when you turn the screens on, you're not going to notice a huge difference right away. If you look closely, then yes. I will go ahead and show that later in the video and let you see, which screen looks better. I'm just going to go over the specs real quick. So 1080p versus Quad HD, this screen still looks really good. If you decide to go with this phone, you're not going to be freaking out over your quality. It's not like you're going to a 720p screen, which will quickly bring me to the Note 2. I don't have my Note 2 anymore. I sold it several months ago because the Note 3 is better in every way. But if you still have your Note 2, then definitely jump to the Note 4. It is definitely worth it to go ahead and go to the Note 4 versus going with last year's Note 3. We've had this phone for exactly a year now. If you look back at my unboxing, I got this the day it came out. So you can search Note 3 unboxing wwjoshdew and you'll see when I unboxed this. It was a year ago. So the technology in this phone is only a year old. Now, especially if you get this on Sprint. If you're deciding on which carrier to get your Note 4 on, this does not pick up tri-band. It will not pick up Spark. There's only one LTE band that it will pick up. So keep that in mind. You're definitely going to want to go with the Note 4 versus the Note 3 because this will pick up Sprint Spark if you get the Sprint version. Now, continuing on with the specs. This has a 3.7 megapixel front-facing camera, and this has a 2 megapixel front-facing camera. I have posted at least a few videos on my second channel, youtube.com/wwjoshdew. A link is in the description like there always has been. This is 1080p, and it looks good. It is very clear. It's actually one of the best front-facing cameras I've seen in a phone. I have yet to test this one out, so I don't know how good this one is just yet. Okay, so both of them have home button, a back button. This has a menu button. On this one, they've changed it to a recent apps button, which can also function as a menu button by long pressing. On this one, you go to your recent apps by holding down the home button to go to your recent apps, like this right here. Hold this down, takes you to your recent apps. If you hold this one down, it takes you to your Google Now or your S Finder. Sorry about that. This one does have the fingerprint scanner, so it makes unlocking your phone very simple and a breeze to quickly get to your phone and not have to put in a pattern and with this one I just had the swipe as you saw, so anybody can walk up to my phone, swipe it, open up my Gmail app, go through all my emails and see everything. But on this one, they would have to have my thumb, which would make it a little bit harder. Both of these have pretty good sounding speakers. I would say they're probably maybe even. This one might be a slight bit better, but you're not going to notice a huge difference. Now, and also another thing is this has a 13 megapixel 4K camera. This has a 16 megapixel 4K camera. So you're not making a huge leap. If this phone's like $200 cheaper than this phone or something, if you take pictures a lot with your phone, it's not like you're losing a whole lot by going to the Note 3 instead of the Note 4. The cameras are just slightly better between the two. This one does have the heart rate scanner to go ahead and put your finger there, but a lot of smartwatches like this Moto 360 here, you can actually, it has one underneath the watch in the back, and that'll tell you your pulse or whatever. So it depends on whether you need that function or not. This one actually has a down-firing speaker right here, which when you cover it, absolutely mutes the audio. On this one, it'll be a similar effect, but not quite as bad because it's going to be going through this back here, which isn't made of aluminum or anything like that. On this one, you completely cover the sound. When you hold it, you don't have to worry about it because it's right above your hand. So the speaker is actually not in a bad spot. And I actually would prefer it if the speaker was on the bottom here, so that way it's easier to get the sound to direct towards you like this versus it being on the back like this one is and firing out that way behind you, and then you're working even harder to get that speaker to route the sound towards you. So I would say the speaker on the Note 3 is definitely better placed than it is on the Note 4. Both of these support Wi-Fi calling on the latest updates. This one has USB 3.0 charging, and you get faster transfer rates if you hook it up to a computer that is USB 3.0 compatible. But to be honest with you, I much prefer to just go ahead and have a SanDisk Extreme card in there, or a Lexar 633X, and take the card out, hook it up to a USB 3.0 card reader, and transfer it 90 megabytes per second to my computer, versus that USB 3.0 port, which isn't nearly as fast as taking the card out and doing it that way. And you don't need drivers or to worry about what operating system you're using, like Windows, etc. Both of these have backs. This one has backs you can purchase to make it wireless charging, and I'm assuming the Note 4 will follow shortly with that. Neither of them have wireless charging out of the box. This one has a quad-core Snapdragon 800. If I'm wrong, I'll put it up on the screen, but I believe this is the 800, and this is the very latest 805. So right away, when you're just flipping through apps, if you're launching Plume, or if you're launching Facebook and stuff, you're not going to notice like a huge, like, Plume. Okay. You're not going to notice a huge difference. Like, let's go ahead and, oh, this one is different. I forgot about that. So we'll hit this one to clear all the stuff out. And then we'll go ahead and launch Plume here and see which one does it faster. So that one did load it significantly faster. And I can even go here to this, my task manager, and clear all the memory. And then go here and clear all the memory for stuff. And okay. And then we'll also do this, and we'll clear out that and that. And we'll see how fast they launch again. So 1, 2, 3. Well, that was about the same on both of them. So that I'm telling you, between launching apps and doing everyday things, you're not going to notice a difference in the processors by just using normal apps. The only apps that are going to let you know is if you're trying to play a game like GTA on max, or GTA San Andreas on max setting, or if you're trying to play Real Racing 3 and you have the RR3 graphics app set to like maximum settings. Then yes, you're going to get a little bit more performance out of this one, which actually, with the screen being Quad HD, it has to work a little bit harder to get the quality that good. So it might actually turn out to be the same, because the GPU is pushing a 1080p screen. This one's pushing a Quad HD. Both of these phones have the very latest version of Android. This one has Android 4.4.4, and this one also has Android 4.4.4. So it's not like you're going to miss out on, updates and stuff. Now, Samsung may decide not to update the Note 3 and to focus primarily on the Note 4. Like, the Note 2 even got KitKat, I believe. So I don't think you'll have to worry about it for a while, but there will be a time when they stop supporting this, and this one continues getting supported, meaning you get the latest version of Android. Now, I do have some videos on how to flash CyanogenMod 11 on your Note 3, and I'm going to make videos on how to flash CyanogenMod 11 on your Note 4. So if if this does get end of life and Samsung stops supporting it, the CyanogenMod team will continue to push updates. So Android L Lollipop, that was just announced today, and the Nexus 6, Nexus 9, and Nexus Player, which if you want to see videos on the Nexus 6, Nexus 9, and Media, and the Nexus Player, please subscribe if you haven't already, because there will be videos on all three of those devices. I'm going to pre-order the Nexus 9 and the Nexus Player on the 17th, which is in 2 days. Today's the 15th. And then they're going to announce when the Nexus 6 is available for pre-order later in October. So all three of those devices will be on this channel, and I'm super excited about it. But Android Lollipop, this, may not get it. It'll take Samsung a while to port TouchWiz on top of Lollipop, which may not actually be that long, because there is Sam Mobile posted a video of Android L on the S5. So, and it looks very, very similar to KitKat, because they don't change much with TouchWiz. Like, TouchWiz all looks the same across all the devices. Maybe a little more polished on the newer phones than the older phones, but, it is what it is. So you're going to get the very latest version of Android, and if this becomes end of life, if you get this phone today or tomorrow, and you save a whole bunch of money by not getting the Note 4, you're going to be able to install custom ROMs that give you AOSP Android. You get all 3 gigs of your RAM versus only having, having 1.27 being used up by TouchWiz and no apps running. So, or 1.14 gigs in TouchWiz and no apps running. So custom ROMs will provide your device with longer life, and you will be on Android Lollipop and whatever comes out after that. You will get that thanks to the CyanogenMod team. So don't worry about that. As far as the cameras, like I said earlier, each camera, this is slightly better. This is slightly better than that camera. The back camera is slightly better than that camera. Now, if you do a lot of video recording, this does have optical image stabilization, and this one does not. When you're in the camera app and you change it to 4K, which both of these have that as well, you'll actually notice that you lose the option to use video stabilization. So Ultra HD, if we change it to 1080p, you're going to see that video stabilization is an option. And now, if we change it to 1440p, which is slightly better than that, it says you lose your dual camera mode, which is where you can choose whether your back camera takes up most of the screen and the front camera is a little video that you can actually resize and make bigger or smaller. Or you can make it towards the front camera fills up the screen and the back camera is a little thing up there. So say you're trying to film your reaction of something that you're seeing for the first time, you can do that. So you lose that right there. The stabilization, I can't even talk, that you also lose. So you do need to keep it on 1080p to keep the video stabilization. Now, one thing I haven't tested yet is if that's just purely software or if that's the hardware optic image stabilization. The optic image stabilization might be hardware and it may not matter if it's on 4K or not. That's something I still have to test out. But this does have optic image stabilization when that one doesn't. If you don't record a lot of video, then that probably does not matter to you because you just take pictures and you're taking in pictures with a really good 13 megapixel camera. Now, let's go ahead and zoom in on the screen so you can get an idea of the two screens here. So we've got the Note 4 on the left and the Note 3 on the right here. So you can get a good close-up of the icons. There we go. That's a really good close-up of the Note 3 in 1080p on the icons. And this is the Note 4 in Quad HD on the icons. There's a little more detail in the icons. And some apps, of course, need to update to make their little image a little more higher quality than others. But Twitter should be a pretty obvious one there. So there we have it. We got Twitter right here on both of these. And you can maybe see the difference. That one actually looks pretty clear because 1080p, again, is not bad at all. And then there's Quad HD. Definitely a difference in the displays, but not something that's huge. These little data icons are because I'm rooted. I have the exposed framework installed. Also, I have the exposed framework installed, and I have S-Health working. I got that. All you gotta do is Google it, and it's one little simple command that you change in in your build.prop. If you're root access, you can change that. If you're not rooted, you don't have to worry about it because you don't have exposed framework and you can't make tweaks like that to your phone. Or you can download this thing called WAN-AM right here. And then under security hacks, you're going to see disable secure storage. So it's going to fix the S-Health issue and the private mode checks by checking that little box there on the bottom there. So that's WAN-AM exposed. That is also exposed module, so you need that. But let's go back to the screen. I was just letting you know why mine looked a little bit different on the top there and had the little icons. So you can see the icons there. Definitely looks better on this screen versus this one. Just a whole lot better. Let's make sure my brightness isn't down. Let's turn the brightness all the way up on both of these. So there you have it. There's that one in 1080p. And then this one in Quad HD. Definitely more detail on all the icons. That's actually very impressive. In short, you are going to get a very good 1080p screen if you get the Note 3, and you're probably going to save at least a couple $100 by not going with the Note 4. You're going to have a really good camera. It's going to shoot 4K video. I have this little tripod here, and I have this little head on it. I have it slanted sideways because I usually put my phone on it for Instagram pictures, but you can put your phone in this little tripod thing from iStabilizer, and it'll keep your phone steady so you can record video on a tripod. But you won't always have that with you. But if you don't record a whole lot of videos, then you won't care about the optic image stabilization. You've got the fingerprint scanner, which makes unlocking your phone secure, meaning someone can't just walk up to your phone and randomly unlock it, and you don't have to sit there and fiddle with the lock screen password that someone might be looking over your shoulder in reading from you and be able to type that in the moment you leave your phone alone, or like a pattern that someone may memorize and see. With your thumbprint, you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about that. And one more thing I want to go ahead and talk about before I disclose the information is, with these phones, you can use batteries like these. So these are Anker batteries, and they are much better than these batteries. But on these, you have this little charger that you can stick your battery in, and you can plug that into a wall, and this will charge your battery up, and you don't have to worry about plugging your phone in. So when the battery in your phone says 15-20%, pull this off, put it in your phone, take the dead battery out of your phone, and put it on the charger. And then we have this Anker one here, which is this one charges your batteries in like 4 to 5 hours, versus this one taking, like, plugging it in the morning, and then the next morning it's finally done. So by the time your battery in here dies, this one will be fully charged, and you just put that on the charger and you're good to go. So you can have a bunch of these batteries. Look, I've got 2 batteries right here, and I've got an Anker battery in here. I don't have to worry about charging my phone. And say you're going to be visiting family in a different country, or you're tethering to, like, 5-6 devices like an Xbox, and someone's playing a game on your 4G LTE, or someone's doing watching a YouTube video on their laptop, or someone's doing like a important thing with their work online that can't be interrupted. You can use one of these bad boys right here. Basically, all you gotta do is take the original back off your phone, pull your battery out, and then take this, put it in there like this, put this on here, and then put this on there, and you're looking at a freaking 10,000 milliamp hour extended battery that will last you a week, a whole week, if you use your phone lightly. If you use your phone heavy and you do like a bunch of gaming and for a couple hours at a time, and if you're taking a bunch of pictures and recording videos and stuff, this 10,000 milliamp hour battery is going to last you a while. Now, there is one more piece to this that I need to go ahead and get. But yeah, I did a video on this case a long time ago. I've had this phone for a whole year now. And the Note 4 is the same way. Don't think that, the Note 3 is getting all this battery love, but the Note 4 isn't. The Note 4 comes out Friday. I got mine early because I pre-ordered, and T-Mobile felt like sending out some people's pre-orders early. So that's why I have it before the actual release date. But Friday, most people are going to get this, and I just squealed there. But Friday, most people are going to get this phone, and October 23rd, people are going to get the phone if they have AT&T and Verizon. So with both of these phones, you get expandable storage, you get SD cards, so you can put 128 gig in there. I happen to have a 64 gig 633X, so when I'm recording 4K video or shooting pictures, it'll save to the card really, really fast, and if I move games over to there, they'll load really fast. But you've got 32 gigs of internal storage on both of these devices, so I don't ever move apps to my external storage with that much space. I just keep the ROMs that I flash on my phone and the pictures and videos that I shoot and record with the camera on here. And then both of these have SIM card. The SIM card is actually underneath the battery on this one. Well, not underneath the battery, but right here. And then this one's on a different spot. So let me go ahead and put the original battery back on there. Well, not the original battery, but a third-party battery. It's the same size. And see, you've got your SD card slot, and then you got your micro SIM right underneath that. These are in different spots. So when Zero Limit makes a huge 10,000 milliamp hour battery or bigger for the Note 4, I will do a video on that battery. You can believe it. I will order that battery the day it's available if, I can't get my hands on one through Zero Limit. And also, if Anker or Zero Limit makes batteries like these for the Note 4, I'll do a video on that too. And then my Note 4 will never see a charging spot. And if you're worried about battery life, you've got like tons of batteries laying around, or you've got this big guy over here that will get you through several days. Battery life is not something to worry about on these phones. I'm not getting bad battery life on my Note 4 right now. It's that 3220 milliamp hour battery is keeping it charged up for, I would say, a good amount of time. I don't really have any complaints. And Samsung's going to be pushing out updates that make that even better and improve on it in the future. This phone just just came out. Well, I mean, for some people, they got theirs early, but it's not even out yet. So there will be updates in the future that make the battery life even better than what it is now. All right, it took me definitely longer than I wanted to say everything I had to say. So let me go ahead and just finish this up in this. If you have a Note 1, a Note 2, an S4, even an S5, because that phone only has 2 gigs of RAM and a smaller screen. If you have a Note 2, if you have an S4, an S5, an S3, definitely jump to the Note 4. I highly recommend it. Don't settle with the Note 3 if you have that device. Now, if you're looking to get one and save a lot of money, and you want to get if you're thinking about getting the Note 3 over the Note 4 because of the price difference, keep this in mind. You are on the very latest version of Android that's available at this moment right now. If you get the Sprint or T-Mobile version of the Note 3 or the Note 4, you can unlock the bootloader, you can install custom ROMs, and even when Samsung puts end of life on either of these phones, those custom ROMs will keep you past Android Lollipop and beyond that. So you won't have to worry about updates if you're willing to get your hands dirty and root your device and install custom ROMs. If you don't want to install custom ROMs, if you want to keep it stock, then I definitely recommend going with the Note 4. That way, when this does get end of life, you're not stuck on an old version of Android. So if you have the Note 3 right now, I honestly cannot say, look at my Instagram posts. I posted proof that I spent $750 on this phone plus $26 for the shipping, for overnight shipping or whatever it was, and then $66 in taxes. I spent $841 on this phone. Now, if you're going to be locked into a 2-year contract, and with AT&T, even if you pay the $300 or whatever it is at the time of you watching this video, you still got to pay monthly on the phone. So whether you just, put $0 down and you pay monthly on it for 2 years, or you put $400 or $300 down and you pay on it, you're still going to be paying a lot for the phone. So I buy all my phones off contract. Okay, 99% of the time I buy them off contract to save money. In the long run, that is. Of course, not in the short run. So if you have this phone right here and you're looking at getting the Note 4, unless you seriously have money to burn and spend, I can't say go get the Note 4. It's essentially the same device, just everything is slightly better. The biggest key differences that this doesn't have being the fingerprint scanner, the optic image stabilization, and maybe even the heart rate thing if you want to throw that in there. But other than that, everything else is just slightly better than the Note 3. That being said, Note 4 is awesome. The Note 3 is awesome. You're not losing out on anything by getting either device. If you enjoyed this video, please do me a huge favor by giving it a thumbs up. Take 2 seconds out of your day to click the like button below, please. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to see more videos on batteries, extended batteries, cases, accessories, ROMs, lots of videos on the Note 4, and you can look at all my previous videos on the Note 3. I already have a ton of videos on the Note 3 if you're getting this phone and you want to learn how to do stuff. Please follow me on Twitter and Instagram to stay up to date and connected, and if you want to chat with me and talk with me. This is What Would Josh Do, and I'm out.